Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Broadbelt SpeaX. Yes. Thank you guys for being here. We have Matt and we have Justin and we have
just opposite.
Justin
so
and we have Matt.
Matt is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why you should have let the man do, but it's okay.
I have offered that plenty of times. You could do the intro, okay?
But yes, I'm just playing. So Justin and Matt.
Yes.
It's okay.
And we're here to talk about NFTs and whatever else that comes.
NFTs, crypto,
yes.
Just all the different elements of it, and kind of get into that conversation. Who wants to start first? Who wants to? We'll start with Justin, because we're talking about first. If you would just explain to everyone what NFT is.
So NFT, from my point of view, is basically stands for non-fungible token.
Mm-hmm.
So it's non-fungible, meaning that it can't be kind of replicated.
Right.
But what it basically boils down to is like a unique kind of digital asset on a blockchain.
Okay.
So it could be artwork, it could be poetry, it could be music.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is artwork, and there are different like generative collections. Okay. But basically what it is a unique kind of digital asset that's kind of stored on a blockchain.
All right.
So,
and just for those defining a blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
So the blockchain is kind of like a cryptographic ledger.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a database. Basically.
See, I would still be lost.
Like a ledger, like a spreadsheet kind of thing.
Yeah,
a record book.
Record book.
Okay.
So
all these
kind of like
transactions.
with the accounting, what someone would do in accounting.
Yeah. You guys explained it to me earlier, but I was trying to come from like someone.
Yeah.
So, I'm not probably not the one to explain exactly what it is,
but the great thing is,
kind of simplified it to be.
Yeah.
And everyone will be stepping in at this stage too, kind of where you're not exactly where you are, but anyone who's kind of just stepping into the understanding and comprehension of what an NFT is, what it's used for, understanding the blockchain, and then taking that and doing more of an investigating on that.
Right.
But I know right before the show, we were saying what kind of got you into this field. So we were kind of stepping into that.
What kind of got me into it is basically I went from working as a mechanic for about the last 15 years, but I've always been kind of interested in web development, web design.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been kind of interested in messing with images. So I got back into web design, and at the same time I was kind of looking at some crypto.
Yeah.
You know, I had an account with Robinhood and stuff just to start off with, and I ended up getting a cold wallet for Christmas last year. Because, I was looking at, like, Cardano was one of the blockchains back then.
Mm-hmm.
So, I forgot what was the question?
What got you
that's
into it?
what got me into it. It was kind of like getting interested in web development. So I started up a website, nonfungi.com.
Okay.
And I started basically trying to get listed on the search engines.
Mm-hmm.
So I had NFT projects were basically visiting the site. It was getting more searches on Google, and then they're submitting their drops. So I developed that an event calendar of upcoming like NFT drops.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been largely spending like the last year doing, and I've built up some of my own collection, and I've seen a lot of ups and downs. You know, there's a lot of,
and that's part of it.
rug pulls, scams.
When we talk about the drops, so when you say drops, for people listening, that involves what?
Yeah, so that basically is like launching a collection.
Okay.
So they'll call it a drop. So it could be an artist or an NFT project, and they'll call them a drop. So when's the drop happening? So NFT drops. Okay. That's kind of where that term come from. It just means that an event, basically, or a launch.
Okay. And then so we call that the drop.
Yeah.
With the and not to get too far, but when you was mentioning the scams, what would be something someone can look for to get as far as a call out to know, oh, this is a potential scam?
So things like we see a lot of the problem is you don't know who is behind it necessarily. So you know, a lot of times I'll be investigating, is there a Twitter account, is the person like doxed or the team doxed behind the drop. You know, you can check their Twitter accounts, their Discord. You can get to know the community first, like before ever like connecting a wallet. Or you got to watch out for, you know, kind of free mints or free giveaways, or you know, you got to really watch out for, if you're in Discord, just turn your DMs off and don't click any links that people send you, because there's so much kind of like scamming, phishing. People impersonating other people from Discord. They want you to click this link, and it's like, it's a fake website, you know. It might say it's counting down, like all these people, it's dropping now, the mint numbers are counting up. I've seen it where it tries to get you in there to, you know, connect your wallet because you think a mint is happening. And it happened to me. I get a wallet drained. It was a phantom wallet. I got drained on Solana. So all
So it does sound like everyone need to do their due diligence as far as investigating, not just jumping right in, especially if it looks too good to be true, with that old saying. But
So you were self-taught? You taught yourself?
Pretty much, I learned the hard way, you know. I sort of...
trial and error.
Started off messing with the Ledger wallet to figure out how I could store like Cardano on it. So to get to that stage, I started up a Kraken account, you know, which was crypto, and then I ended up going from Cash App, sending some Bitcoin to Kraken in order to get Ethereum. So then you can send the Ethereum to your MetaMask wallet. I think it's a lot easier now, and like onboarding is probably a lot easier now than it was about a year ago, and hopefully more secure and safer as well.
And what about you? What got you into the NFTs?
Matt.
Pretty similar story to Justin. Honestly, I initially started investing on like Robinhood and whatnot in terms of like stock market, but they were offering like Ethereum and things like that you could buy into, and I had a little bit. And as I kind of learned that really you don't own your ETH on Robinhood, like you just Robinhood owns it, but you know they give you the rights to it per se. I started investigating like how can I own, you know, make sure that I own my own coin. So that kind of got me started in kind of the crypto market and whatnot. And of course you hear the stories about like Bored Ape Yacht Club and crypto punks and, you know, these things that are selling for millions of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, you know, a year ago, where I'm like, okay, so like, what is an NFT? Like, you know, I want to be a part of that, you know? And, so, you know, you do your research and you get into it, and, obviously those are outliers and not everything is, financial like play. Some things you just like the artwork. But yeah, that kind of got me started into the rabbit hole of just learning about crypto, DeFi, NFTs, and everything the space has to offer. And I kind of, like Justin, just trial and error, started with a little small amount, played around with it, and built my comfort level to really kind of jump more so heavy into the space.
And how long ago was that?
About same time frame, about a year ago.
Okay. Yeah. And then how did you guys meet?
We met through the man behind the scenes, Kurt Meinhold, and we shared similar interests in the space, and we both know Kurt, and Kurt was like,
he emailed us, say, hey, you want to get together? Another buddy of mine's into crypto and NFTs.
Exactly. So we spoke gibberish to each other.
You had you come to the house late at night.
CeeLo, right?
Yeah.
Different blockchain. CeeLo. You still into that?
Very much so. Yeah. I had an idea to develop. It's a blockchain, and it's its own coin. It's called CeeLo. It's CeLo. And so that was something that I'm very, into and bullish on and see the big picture personally, and I was just sharing it with Justin, as kind of people do in different industries. You kind of share tips, tidbits, and
But then they have like a hackathon as well, where you can learn how to develop on the platform.
They have different hackathons. They actually have a platform where you get paid to learn their like syntax, their coding language, and whatnot. And their motto is like prosperity for all. So they're very focused and just in terms of like low income countries and making the financial system a lot more accessible to countries that usually have a harder time getting into it or getting the help that's needed. Super low gas fees. So like if you're trading coins on like the Ethereum network, you can be paying anywhere from like 25 to 125 bucks just for in transition. On Celo, you're paying a tenth of a 1 cent. So for a transaction, they're very environmentally conscious. They're net zero emissions, carbon emission blockchain, and they're very, like I said, environmentally friendly, and also focusing on just people and planet as well. So it aligned with my personal interest and beliefs and whatnot. And I mean, I dabble on other networks as well, but that's one not paid advertising or anything for the network, but it's something I'm into.
Okay. And you've launched this?
No.
No,
I participate in it
just
though.
Participate. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So you think that could be as like good for NFTs as Ethereum?
I believe so. Personally, just mainly because of the low gas fees that come with it.
Yeah.
And you see that too with Solana. You see that's kind of like the value
Polygon and
Solana, Avalanche as well.
Yeah.
Like these are all different networks that have lower gas fees than Ethereum. A lot of them are built on top of Ethereum, but the way that the mechanics work, you're not paying as much just for the transaction. Celo does have its own NFT ecosystem. I know Solana is probably like top 2 or 3 like ecosystems like outside of like
you got
Ethereum.
Magic Key and Solana.
And Celo's more, I guess, starting up in its NFT space. There's only a handful of projects on the network, but I could see that growing just like any other network. You start somewhere and more people learn about it and add projects to it.
So like for me, if I wanted to get into the NFTs, what sites would you recommend me go and do my research and get more information about it?
Yeah, well, I'll plug Justin in. Go to nonfungi.com.
There are blog sites around. You could probably go to OpenSea as well. They have like the NFT Bible, some good things to sort of read up. My site NonFungi has a blog which it's got some kind of introductory, like beginner, goes into a little bit about MetaMask or, I need to blog more often, but, I write some of my happenings up there on the blog as well. Trying to spread some tidbits of knowledge or whatnot.
Give that knowledge.
To do with security, or I might link to like a Twitter Spaces or something that is recorded that might be useful.
Okay.
And I've got a whole page full of links as well, like to all the different swap sites and blockchain development sites and all the different NFT calendars. So it's kind of a resource site with all the events on there. It needs more development, and it probably needs to sort of expand the team, get some more contributors in on it.
Okay. So when we talk about NFTs, we talk about crypto, we talk about different things as far as moving money, investing money, making money. To compare that to just leaving as we were talking about, just leaving your money in the bank and savings, or entering into the stock market. So what? Just curious, the benefit to you all moving from more of the stock market into the crypto world.
I'll take the question to start at least, but I'd say one of the benefits is really more of the opportunity for passive income in the crypto world versus stock market. Like, yeah, in the stock market, you can buy dividend stocks and whatnot, but the margin isn't typically as large in terms of like a percentage of what you're investing. You're not going to get as much back versus, let's say, crypto, holding, staking is what they call it. But when you stake your crypto, essentially it's just putting it up to be a validator in the network, and you earn part of the fees from that. But I like to ask people, at home, those that are watching, like, if you look at your bank account, look how much interest you're earning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Most people, for me, mine's 0.3% for my bank. I don't know who everybody banks with, but
I want to know who has 1%.
Yeah, if you got 1%, let me know. I'll sign up for their whatever program they have. But with crypto, that's like super low. Like on the low end, you're looking at 3%, and that's just that's if you're just holding like a stable coin. And same for those same stable coins. And stable coins are coins that are pegged 1-to-1 with like the US dollar, so they don't fluctuate in price. They just stay a steady price. And 3% is on the low end. There's places I know giving 14%, 20% on these stable coins that you can just have your money sitting there. We spoke about this earlier when you're like looking at inflation and whatnot. And, if inflation's 6.5, 6.9%, and you're just having your money sit in the bank earning 0.3%, you're losing to inflation just by having your money sit there, let alone, anything else that may happen just in everyday life. If, markets change, you lose your job, things aren't selling the same anymore, whatever. It's just, for me, it just makes more sense to at least have it in a safe holding of crypto that's earning
the
at
money.
Least 3%, because then you're not beating inflation in that case, but you're doing better than the bank. And like I said, there are places you can do 14% and then you're beating inflation,
which is amazing. And even when we think about with the banking system, we were just having a conversation. They are taking your money and they're investing it, and they're making a lot off of your money, and then they're giving you back 0.3%. You're not even getting a full percentage on that. But the bank is telling you it's safe to put your money with us. So,
do you feel like in the future, with all the millennials, they're into the cryptocurrency? And do you think it's going to change? The bank industry is going to realize, we need to give more percentage, or do you think it's just going to be the bank's just going to phase out?
I think the banks are going to try to buy their way in. The banks aren't going nowhere. They're too strong. Too much money. The pocket's too deep. Old money, ties. They own like physical things that they're always going to have income coming in.
They got the government on their side.
They got government backing. Long history. Going back to at least in America. In terms of the formation. But I do see them kind of buying their way into the space and owning certain platforms that deal with crypto, or owning majority of coins and things like that. I don't think they may not offer higher percentage, or they may kind of do a hybrid model where, they say, if you place your funds in our bank, we will put it into crypto, and but they're still probably going to gyp you like that 14%. They're going to give you 7%. They're going to give you 7% out of that when you could just do it yourself and get the, who knows how it really will play out, but that's just kind of my opinion.
I'm wondering what's the percentage today of people taking their money out the bank. And I wonder how much the bank is looking at that to determine when they need to step in. I'm sure there's some type of threshold where they're like, if we lose 8% of the population that's putting their money into crypto, all right, we need to come up with something, because they're already thinking about it. They're already coming up with a plan and what those next steps are and whatever they're building out. And more than likely, I agree with you, Matt, they're just going to come in and buy it. Because it's already set up. The platform is there. They're just going to come in, they're going to buy it, and they're going to be the middleman at that point, where they're going to get that percentage off of it and cut it in half. Like you said, that 14 is now just going to be 7 or 5.
Maybe even less. You may be getting 5, 3%.
Exactly. They're getting all of that.
And that's where I think it's a part of the bank is going to play on the ignorance of people to some extent. Yeah. Because if you don't know about this space or the potential which you could be doing with your finances, if your bank right now sent you an email or message and say, hey, we upped your savings, interest percentage from 0.3 to 3%, most everybody would be happy, but you don't know, if you don't know what's like how that's happening or how they're utilizing your money on the back end, you're getting the short end of the stick, but the bank could sell it to you like you're getting a better deal. And so that's why, I just want people to at least be aware of the space and the opportunity that crypto and blockchain really provides. And, do your due diligence, do your research, and obviously invest with caution and all that good stuff, but it's out there, it's a thing, and it's accessible for most at the moment.
Go ahead.
No, you got it.
I remember earlier you were saying that it's a very small window right now until something happens before you could go ahead and get in now before something happens. Can you talk about that? I can't remember.
I mean, you can always get in.
Right.
I'd seen an article maybe a month or two ago or something, and I would have to go back and like double fact check. But I did see, it was a headline at least, that I believe that SEC won't require crypto exchanges to really report, to have to report the information of their users until like 2023 or something like that. So right now, yes, you have to still report on your taxes, and you should, and all that good stuff. But in terms of the institution of like, for example, Coinbase or Kraken or Crypto.com, in terms of those as businesses having to report that information, that won't be required until 2023. But something could have changed by now. Like that's already a couple months ago, and with policy, things fluctuate and dates changes. But at the time, I was just sharing that I feel like this is a good year to really get into it before things start getting regulated differently and whatnot. Yeah. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West right now.
So definitely. Or as they call it, the gold rush.
Exactly.
And then Justin, you pretty much agree as far as with stepping into crypto outside of the bank.
I think there's probably a lot more sort of mileage still yet to happen with sort of NFTs as being like a contract kind of deal. So I wouldn't be surprised, like we were talking about earlier with Kurt, about fractionalized sort of holdings as well.
Yeah.
So you may see, be able to sell, like, I think it's already happened. There was a dealership that sold a boat or something just the other day for a couple of $1 million or something. I think that was like an NFT trade. So you may have got all kinds of like housing deeds or fractional. And so I'm sure the banks will be probably interested in using that technology, for proof of ownership and stuff.
Agree.
Because right now it's not. So that sale, it didn't even go through the bank.
I don't think so. It was something I read.
And so the bank is not getting no percentage. They're not getting any of it.
Not being the middleman.
Exactly.
And that's what they're looking at. So especially something of that high dollar amount. We're talking about millions. So.
And that's I think the potential there for the NFT space outside of like the artwork of it. Justin touched on it. I am aware of a real estate company that's basically gonna start offering, when you purchase a house, you're just buying the NFT, and by owning the NFT, that's showing your rights to owning the actual property. That could be applied to big
and it's
purchases.
not like a timeshare, but that's like owning the actual house, deed, property, and all that would be.
And so if you want to transfer, instead of again using the bank as the middleman, you can just sell your NFT, obviously for the price of the house, which is assuming a lot, for most people, but you can do it that way as well. There's things where larger items like cars, boats, things of that nature. I know the NFTs coming into the music space now, where artists are able to record their songs and make their music an NFT. So now instead of labels getting a cut, the artists
reggae artist Collie Budge just launched the TTFM crew, and these NFTs are sort of you can win when they get revealed. You can win like tickets to the shows, or he's got some other prizes in there, and then it would be also used in like the metaverse, like Sandbox, to where you can attend like, you know, virtual shows, or you can actually, the NFT can be like a proof of ownership or something, but it can be a ticket basically into an event.
Yeah,
you know, so you wouldn't be able to go into a physical, you know, or a virtual like Sandbox concert unless you had that particular NFT.
Yeah, I wanted to get into the metaverse since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
So because I'm learning all of this, so I'm just it's crazy to me. So you're saying
that's really kind of like Web3 really kind of thing, when you got the MetaMask wallet or the Phantom wallet or whichever wallet is on whichever blockchain that will then, you know, link through the browser to be able to access it and then enter it. So it is kind of like a ticket, you know.
Okay.
And you present the ticket, and then you're in the show, a digital show of a certain artist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the artist is digital. I mean, he's performing his digital
they're
self.
already doing that thing. Like
his avatar is performing.
Yeah, there are places like in Crypto Voxels, which is like, you know, a 3D metaverse. So you have your own avatar, and you can. There's a whole industry around it, like making these 3D wearables. You can dress your avatar.
The wardrobe.
Yeah, the wardrobe. Yeah. So
and you're purchasing it.
People
you can make it, you can purchase it, like, sell it.
You know, they spin around. They're 3D, but when you go into, you can create your own costume, and it's the same for different metaverses as well. Like there's a guy from like Hong Kong that got in touch with me, who he did a NFT drop, and he just started a YouTube channel, Non-Fungible TC is his channel, but he's been interviewing a lot of creators and stuff and artists that do that. So it'd be a good resource to check out, to see some of the...
And what was the name of that one again?
Non-Fungible TC.
Non-Fungible TC.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm still stuck because, so you're saying if it's a designer and they do t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
They make the t-shirt.
They're like fashion shows and all kinds of, there's a catwalk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure I'm understanding what's going on around me, and I don't have any clue. Yeah. Okay. So this is a whole world.
Yeah.
That's
it's
being
pretty
created.
Interesting. Because like Snoop Dogg's pretty big in the Sandbox as well, right?
Yeah, Snoop's pretty big into it. And there's different worlds. That's the thing. Like there's Sandbox,
Decentraland,
and
Somnium Space,
Treeverse. I've heard of. Like
Treeverse.
There's all kinds of different kind of worlds or universes in the in the metaverse, but the principles are the same of giving people that autonomy to you can own land in the metaverse. You can.
I was saying that.
Yeah, you can own a storefront. I think like JP Morgan has a storefront in one of the metaverses now. So
there's a Sotheby's in Decentraland.
Yeah. Wow. So companies, you're seeing large institutions actually coming into it because they recognize that's a whole nother space that people will be doing commerce in as things kind of develop further and the technology gets better and better.
And it's always that dollar. That's what we're looking at.
That's
so
the bottom
how
line.
can we find ways to generate more money?
So they have a lot of their own coin, right? Like sand and land. Well, sand goes with Sandbox, and land for
there's Mana,
Decentraland. That's it, Mana. Yeah,
there's Mana. There's DC, which is Decentraland. Things like DG is the token thing. But these different metaverse platforms have like a native token that you do the commerce with.
Got it.
I wouldn't pay you $1 for your jacket in the metaverse. I'd pay you some sand token, or some Mana token or whatever, wherever we're at.
And then how much do you pay to get the sand tokens? I mean,
price fluctuates. It's an economy thing of supply and demand, and how much buying pressure and how much selling pressure is going on. But I don't even want to say the price because I haven't looked at sand in a while, but I know once upon a time.
Up and down. It was forever. It was like $1 and then it shot up to like $5. I think it's around $3 right now, isn't it?
I haven't looked at it in a while, honestly. Last time I remember it was like 2 something. It was like 2 something. So, the price fluctuates. And I feel like as it matures, there will be kind of like a stabilization, like a natural stabilization of the coin. But, it's still a relatively new space. So, it goes up and down. But yeah, I mean, and that would be on I guess, the buyer or the seller and how they value it in a sense, because you can either look at the dollar amount or you can look at the sand amount.
Right.
You know, if sand's $2, are you selling your jacket for $10 or are you selling it for 5 sand? Like, which do you value more? Is it the what sand is worth now or what you think sand is going to be worth, you know, later down the line?
Right.
So that's kind of just the buyer seller relationship, but that's how it works.
That's interesting.
It is.
That's where you have to sort of learn. I think people need to learn how to sort of transfer and not get lose on transactions, or because that's like what happened to me is learning the hard way. Like you don't send enough of a certain coin and it won't transfer because you have to send a certain amount. So
yeah. And I think that's part of the hesitation from just the general public
Mm-hmm.
and getting into the world of crypto and all the different variables and that's out there. And
there are
just
pitfalls, there are scams.
Yeah, and they're just ready to stick with the bank. Even though, as Matt pointed out, 0.3, 0.4% is what you get in return for your money.
Yeah. To some extent, I mean, and somebody can correct me, but I haven't met too many successful, if you're basing success off finances, I haven't, heard of too many successful people that played it safe the whole way, especially in the beginning. So, there is a risk. We talked about kind of what we envision the future looking like for, big banks and stuff. There may be a time where crypto becomes insured to some extent and things of that nature. And I think there are, I'm not sure. I think there is like some startups kind of working in that space of how to insure people's crypto. You pay an insurance fee and all that jazz. But to your point of the initial right now, it's the fear of the unknown of
always because it's unknown. So it's not familiar to you. So it's not that unsafe feeling. And I think that's why I like, Justin, you're talking about you have the blog on there to give people that information and even direct them to other sites and places where they can get even additional information because that education is going to be the key. And it's easy to control by keeping everyone in the dark. So I'm speaking more of what the banks would want to do. Keep with us, it's simple language, they'll try to make it seem like it's more complicated than what it really is. And everything appears complicated when it's unknown to you, when you're ignorant to the steps that are involved. But then once you get that knowledge, you're like, oh, it's just ABC. That's really how it is. So with just kind of get into some of the conversations we were having right before we started the show, when we're looking at the time that it takes as far as when you're in that crypto world and you're watching it fluctuate up and down, what's the frequency of how often you need to be looking at it from day to day? Can you just sit at it and watch it weekly, or is it best to have someone that you're working through that's paying attention?
I say it depends on your appetite, your investing appetite, and how much you have in the space, like how much of your wealth or value percentage, how much of that you really have invested in there. Obviously, if you just threw $100 in, and let's say, some people $100 is a lot, some people that's not, so much. It depends. So there's different, I guess, strategies, and some of those strategies I would recommend daily, multiple times a day. Yeah. Some strategies, if you're just kind of buying and holding or just letting the interest incur, then you could check on it. If you don't need that money or anything, you could just let it sit in there and check it like you would your 401k or something, and I don't think
long time, set it and forget it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it just depends on your appetite and what your strategy is, because you could buy a coin now and just say, I think it's going to double in 3 months, and you may check it, every week in that time frame, but you might buy a coin and say, I think it's going to double in 5 years. Right. But that's just your appetite for investment. That's kind of what you're going for. So if you think it's going to take that long, you don't need to check it every day. But if it's a shorter term investment, definitely. But overall, it's good to just keep up with the market in general on a day-to-day basis, just so you're aware of, how things are moving.
And I like how you said the appetite, because I think that is going to be as far as what the individual is looking for. Like, are you trying to make a lot of money in a short period of time, or are you looking at, you know, building money over time as far as like a retirement plan?
Exactly.
Which is more that long-term goal. So there will be, and we was talking about it before too. It takes money to make money. Yeah, so, and I say it to say for everyone, if you are investing that 100 and the change is, it went from I think we was talking about Cardano is
went from like 80 cents.
Yeah, 80 cents to $1.13 or $1.20 now. You know, you're not going to see much gain on that off of 100. But if you would have invested 10,000, 20,000, then you see a larger gain in that. So it really depends on where you're at, and you have to have a starting point and then be willing to stick with it.
Yep.
So would you, so I guess I'll point this to you, Justin. With that, when you were stepping into that world after working and everything, and is that more what pushed you to step in there and stick with it, being a year in?
Well, I mean, I kind of didn't really get into it as much for the trading side, I don't think. Okay. But it may have had a part to do with it initially, because I remember, you know, originally like Dogecoin and one of the first, even though it's not like a real sort of exchange or whatnot, or what, you know, Robinhood, where you could hold it but not necessarily sell it or transfer it. So, you know, I was sort of one of the first when Dogecoin pumped from like 0.0005 to whatever it went to, you know, make a little bit of money here and there. And so I was messing with different stocks as well, like some of the meme stocks and all that last year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I'm not so big into like maybe the finance side of it. I probably need to learn more about all that on doing the swaps, because you know, like I was saying, there's transaction fees. So if you're trying to do it all on Ethereum, you'll be paying loads of money in gas. And I've, you know, probably wasted loads on gas from buying NFTs and stuff. So, you know, you have to know how to do it. And I think one of the great things about, you know, the internet now as well, you've got so many different really awesome, like, YouTubers, you know, channels on YouTube that you can follow. You could probably join different, like, Telegram groups and stuff that give you signals. If you wanted to be like day trading it, you could. I mean, you could probably put more in and for a less amount of time, and you know, mess with that sense. But I've gone more towards like the community building and kind of more towards the artwork side of the NFTs. I believe is sort of where I'm at right now, not necessarily more from the trading or finance point of view.
Okay.
Like I say, there are a ton of good channels out there if you want to learn more about that. Like, you know, most of your stuff, you don't do it on Ethereum. You'll be on a different mainnet.
Yeah, I'm on a different.
So you got to learn how to go from one mainnet to the another. So you have to learn how to bridge Ethereum to AVAX or to Polygon. So then you'll be using the native coin to do. So there's a lot less gas.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to know what you're doing. You know.
Yeah, start with small amounts. Don't never try to transfer, especially when you're starting off, you know, anything that you don't want to lose, obviously. But yeah, just start kind of practicing with small amounts until you're comfortable, and then you do larger amounts. But just for those watching, like gas fees are the transaction fees that you pay on the network to do said transaction. Certain networks have higher gas fees than others. And I'm not sure if I said it like while we were recording, or if this was something I said prior to, but for example, Ethereum doing a transaction can, depending on the congestion on the network, on like how many other people around the world are doing transactions at that time frame, could cost you anywhere from $25 to $150, you know. That's just a separate fee from like whatever you're transferring. You're paying that out to conduct that transfer, that 25 to 150. Whereas there's other networks such as Polygon / Matic or Cello or AVAX or Solana, where you would be paying cents, to do that transact, like literal 20 cents, 10 cents, 1 cent. One of those is a fraction of a cent. You pay a tenth of a cent to do a transaction. So, that's, I feel like, a game changer for a lot of people as well.
I'm sure.
And I've heard it broken down kind of like this in terms of the evolution of crypto. Like, so Bitcoin is kind of like your flip phone, your Nokia, you know what I'm saying? And then you got Ethereum, which is like your Razor, your Sidekick, it's like the next generation of phones.
Yeah.
But then you have these newer ones like Solana, AVAX, Cello, Polygon, which are like your iPhones, where they're a lot more efficient and can do a lot more on there. And so that's kind of like how I like to think of it, as like, they all work. I'm sure if you found a Nokia and you paid your phone bill, you could call somebody. But it's bulky. It's not as quick. Maybe you can't do as much on there. And granted, like, Ethereum has a great ecosystem, so I'm not saying that you can't do a lot on Ethereum, but it's just those gas fees that really, I guess, is a barrier of entry for a lot of people. And another caveat, kind of quickly, is that the gas fee is the same no matter how much money you're transferring. Yeah, so it's not correlated. So, for example, if I'm sending $25 and that gas fee is $50, I have to pay $50 just to send my $25. But during that same time frame, if the gas fee is $50, I could send $10,000 and I'm still just paying $50 to do it. So that prices out a lot of people, like a lot of kind of smaller individual investors and people that want to participate, because they're like, oh, the gas fee is killing me. But if you're a big hedge fund or bank or business or anything like that, and you're doing $1 million transactions, that 50 is just, you don't even think about it. You're like, you do 10 transactions a day and not even worry about it. So that's what prices people out. But on the smaller I don't want to say the networks are small. Well, they are technically, but on the networks like Matic and whatnot, you can do a lot less, move a lot less funds around and still enjoy the benefits of moving around the network.
And are they the same too, where it doesn't matter?
Yeah, it's
the dollar amount.
It doesn't matter dollar amount. It's just the gas fee is based on the network usage at the time. So the more people that are on the network doing transfers, the higher the gas fee, because it's more processing power and whatnot on the back end. Versus if sometimes I'll do a trade late at night just because I know that the gas fee may be a little lower. There's certain parts of the day, and you can Google it and look at the chart, because crypto is a global network. So just because like we're asleep here in the U.S. doesn't mean that somebody on the other side, another country's up and running, and gas fees can still be high in the middle of the night. But there's certain times of the day where you just be patient and wait for the gas fee to drop, and then you do your transfer.
You jump in doing that. Those call them peak hours.
Exactly.
And I want to go back to you, and I would like you to tell the audience what your website is again.
Oh, nonfungi.com.
Nonfungi.com.
non/fungi.com.
And on your website, I know you say you do blogs. If people have questions, is it a way they can ask a question to you and you answer it?
Yeah, I've got there's a contact form on there.
Okay.
It's not actually opened up to take comments or any kind of membership site as of yet.
Yeah.
But I think in the future, I'd like to open it up to more of a community thing, like have community writers or artists, be able to contribute.
That would be good.
Yeah. That would take,
that's what I was going to ask you. What did you want to see your website going in the future? So I
think that's kind of where, I've had some kind of wild ideas about creating like a DAO around it, decentralized autonomous organization.
Okay.
And then, the founders of it would basically be responsible for the decisions on the future of its development. Like I even thought about, you just sell, you could sell the whole website or something as an NFT or a project or a drop.
Yeah.
Because, if it's something that, I can take to a certain level, but I still need to sort of study and learn and get more into, developing WordPress or developing React or whatever it is, try and take it to the next step. But I think if I was to open it up like that to some kind of a DAO or to more community members that can,
and then they can take it.
Yeah, really, there's
push it to where it can
exactly. Like the way that the development community has progressed since I learned sort of HTML back in maybe 20 years ago, and I used to mess with websites. But then when I quit my job working on forklifts, I really wanted to get back into it all. So then, I've been using sort of WordPress to develop it. But I see now, there's a lot more like decentralized Web3 apps. You can connect with your wallet, or, the images can be uploaded to IPFS or Arrowweave, so they're like immutable and they're not decentralized. So, I've got quite a few plans like that. I think where, I've in the past, and maybe say I'm not really a great sort of leader as such or team member, but I think I need to sort of sit back and maybe get some help, like to develop it and take it to the next stage.
And you can build it. You get, you say as far as leading, but you could build your team kind of to get to that point. So, yeah.
So, there's a lot of opportunity for people that are interested in the space. Maybe people build a channel, like a YouTube channel or following of doing reviews of things. Just daily shows or articles, and the more you sort of build it up, I suppose, the more hits you'd get and search engine results. I don't need to try and reinvent the wheel. I know there's a lot of different ways of blogging. Like there's Medium, there's tons of other blogs, Publishox, and whatnot.
I think Medium is probably one of the more, at least in the crypto space, is pretty popular.
It's the popular one.
Yeah, Justin, when you were saying about the scams that's out there, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, you should totally do a YouTube on
scams. It should be doing. That's a really good idea as well, is to actually document things that go wrong, and so as other people can learn for it.
Exactly. Yeah, because people are out there researching anyway.
Exactly. Like how to spot a scam or how to stay safe, or
and they'll pull more people into it as well because they're getting the education. And
I've got stories that I can tell. Like I think, did I already mention the wallet drain that happened? But it happens a lot as well. Like there'll be, I'll be checking out these new drops that come in, and then I've got to go visit the link to check it out. And then so I'm in a position where I need to be careful about links that I click, you know. So I've stopped adding as much. I try and sort of make sure that they're like doxed or whatnot, or verify who's behind it, and it's not just going to be some what they call rug pull where, it's a bunch of them.
Because once they have your wallet, then they can drain it. So there's no way you control that.
It can be if it's a malicious link. Yeah, it's happening quite often now. People will DM you in Discord, and they'll be sort of faking that they're like an admin or from a drop. Say, hey, we're minting now. Click this link, and if it looks, if it looks good and you connect to it, there are ways that then they can basically just send all your funds and drain your wallet.
At that point.
So it's always like, it's real important to do your own research, look up any drop, get to know the community before connecting your wallet or minting and stuff. You never give out your seed phrase as well, that kind of stuff.
Never ever. That's the last thing you want to say.
But that is a great idea to document the pitfalls and the scams. Try and
just put your phone up and just talk to the phone. And post it on YouTube. And then for you, Matt, how can someone reach you if they have any want to know any information about NFTs and
crypto
I would say you could
call
just
Kurt.
Call Kurt. That's a different podcast. That's a topic for a different podcast. But I would say, feel free you could email me. That's probably the best way, honestly. I don't have like a platform that's I'm more of just, an individual investor, kind of utilizer of the blockchain, but feel free to email me
at least today.
At least today.
You got a lot of information.
You never know. I'm I've played around with some ideas of, you know, what could really be developed and created in the space and whatnot. Right. But at the moment, I'm enjoying just the finance side, and they call it DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. So that's, you know, the new wave. And I'm starting to get more into ReFi, which stands for regenerative finance, which is like the intersection of crypto and environmentalism and whatnot, and how can you utilize the finance system to then have a positive impact on the planet and whatnot. But that could be a whole nother podcast topic. But there's these spaces and kind of different subject matters coming out of crypto right now that I'm just being a sponge and participating and learning as I'm going. So I won't say, you know, right now I don't have a platform or crypto business to promote, but, you know, keep an eye out because you never know.
Okay. But I turned my mic on here for the first time ever.
Oh, yes.
Because I don't want to gloss over. I do think it's worthwhile. So, you know, Broadbelt SpeaX focuses on sort of local celebrity, and one of the reasons, Matt, I thought of you was because of Imposta and the work you've done. And so obviously we're getting on to 3/4 of an hour here, but I do think it's worth throwing out there kind of, you know, you talked about your interest in that, the green space and things, and I think it's worth throwing that out there to at least chat about it. So
tell us about the cheese. I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, does the cheese really taste like cheese? Well, it's not cheese.
I'll let you be the judge.
I need to go and get it.
I'll let you be the judge of that, but you know,
you're making cheese?
So I make a plant-based cheese sauce called Imposta. I've been doing it for...
I like the name.
Thank you. I've been doing it for a few years now, probably 3-4 years now, and that's kind of been started here in Greensboro, so that's where I did it, and it's sold at Deep Roots if you ever been around. It's sold in Bowie's Market out in Winston-Salem. E-commerce, you can go to the website, I'll ship it right to you. That's kind of, that was birthed out of my interest for environmentalism and sustainability, and just knowing that the impact that the dairy industry, animal agriculture, and things like that really have on the planet. So an alternative source, the cheese sauce is based with potatoes and carrots, so lower impact than obviously cows and farms and all that jazz. And so that's really what I do outside of crypto, you know, and things like that. But that is a lot easier to contact me with. You can go to the Instagram page, Imposta Food, the website, impastafood.com, info@impastafood.com is the email. All kinds of ways to reach me.
Crypto is a nice balance to that good work.
Yeah.
So, you know, you really green on that side and then just throw it all out the window on the crypto side.
As I mentioned,
you green credits.
You can buy carbon, and that's something you can do on crypto. You can buy carbon credits on the blockchain as well. But I mentioned I really heavily use Cello, which is a carbon neutral platform, and so I do that intentionally. And I've been mulling around ideas on how to integrate crypto with small business as well. And so again, there's plenty of sessions we can dive deeper, but
I would love to have you back. I wanted to I didn't want it to mix up. I was just like, I want to know about your. Well, I'm not a vegan, but I just like healthy eating.
Yeah,
and so it was real interesting when I went to your page and I was looking at Imposta. So I definitely would love to dive into that and what sparked the idea. And then I know you're A&T alumni, Aggie Pride, and so it was all types of things I wanted to say, but we just didn't have enough time.
I know.
But we could definitely bring you back.
That can be, you know, just that. What is it?
A segue.
Yeah, not even segue, but like that. When you're putting something out there,
the seed.
People, so we can plant the seed for the next show. When we bring you back and we go more into Imposta. And,
but I thought you was still here in Greensboro, but I heard earlier that you're in Charlotte. So
but I still plan that out. Frequent here on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Retail, you know, around the area and the Triad. So I'm around.
So it's in Deep Roots right now.
Right now.
So I'm gonna have, when I leave here, I'm gonna go after we eat, right?
Can you heat it
Eat
up?
first.
Like,
And then I'm going to go to seafood.
Heat it up. Use it. People use it on do cheese fries, loaded baked potatoes, nachos.
Okay.
Gotta try it. I gotta try it. But thank you so much, Matt, and thank you, Justin, for all your knowledge. It was a wonderful
thanks for having
show,
us.
and I'm gonna let you take us out.
Okay. And as always, I think I did fail to mention that we do have the internationally known engineer of the last 2 decades, Kurt, is always in the building. And we had him mic'd up. And he actually spoke on the mic. Yes. So very excited about that. We're starting a new trend here.
Yes.
Turn the camera on him as well.
We're going to sneak one in here one day and have it on. He won't even know. He's going to be looking at the board why am I on in the frame all of a sudden?
Well, I'm not even part of this podcast, but I'm going to ask, so you're not doing I Am because you forced me to do it when I was a guest.
We did pass that. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was going to come back to it.
Okay,
after that. So let
he was going to come back to it.
If I was going to suffer, I just know I'm going to make every other guest suffer. So,
but as always, we say with Broadbelt SpeaX, you can find us on all social media outlets, Spotify, Apple, so on. If you're looking to make a suggestion, comment, or if you just have questions, you can find us at Broadbelt SpeaX03@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Broadbelt_SpeaX. And I am curious. So this is what I am is. You just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of what you're feeling currently in
the
your current moment.
Yeah.
So it can be one word, several words. It could be a phrase.
So one time somebody gave it like a whole monologue. I think that was Nathan.
That was Nathan. He did do a whole monologue. I was like, cut his mic off. He was doing too much. No, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah,
so I am curious.
I would say I am at peace.
Nice. I would say I am grateful.
I am inspired.
I love it. And that is it for Broadbelt SpeaX.
Yes.
Till next time.
And again, thank you both, Justin and Matt.
No, thank you both.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.